right thing.
Hey, welcome to Real WW Talk. I'm Erin.
And I'm Rikki.
We are glad to see you here. Candice will be back with us next time. She's doing a little break with her family. So we thought this week, and she would be so perfect to do this because you know Candice and her streaks. But we thought we would talk about tracking through the holidays. Da, 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 da. Because really the holiday season, I feel like started October 1st.
Yeah, I felt like it.
I feel like it. Or should I say really August 27th? Whatever day the pumpkin spice lattes get in the store, I feel like that becomes holiday season.
It really does. You start seeing all the Christmas stuff in the stores. You can start your Christmas shopping if you want. I mean,
it's bonkers.
Yeah.
It is bonkers. So Rikki, I was thinking we could touch base on a couple things.
Okay.
We could talk about actually tracking. We could talk about all the food. There's so much food that has already happened. There's still so much food yet to come. I don't know what you feel like. I feel like I hit this time of season. Like I don't struggle as much in the summertime, but like the minute the weather changes, I change.
Yeah. There's something about this season. We just want comfort food. I think it's also the season of potlucks and it's the season of holiday parties and just seasonal drinks. I mean, how can you go to an apple orchard and not get a apple cider donut? You know, like it would just be wrong.
It's so wrong. It's so wrong. And then you come away with like a couple gallons, or maybe not a couple gallons, but at least a gallon of apple cider itself. I just feel like when we hit fall, like all of the food becomes a thing.
Yeah.
And yet when I first joined WW, I joined at the end of August and somehow successfully lost weight through the Christmas season when I first joined. So I know that it is possible.
Yeah.
It is. It's possible.
Yeah.
So I also know for you, as you've said many times, you love the specialty things.
Yes.
This year will be no different. What plans, like how have you done so far with all of the things? And are you doing anything different this year than what you typically have done?
So I think I'm just more aware of the marketing piece of things. So I know that there are certain things that are just, they slap limited edition on it, regardless of whether they know it's going to come back or not. And I feel like in that sense, I feel a little gypped. I'm like, I don't want to be that target person that everyone in the marketing department is like her. We are.
You're like, we've got her on lockdown.
Right. Right. So I think that's the one piece of it. But I think the other piece is that I know that if we don't change anything, nothing's going to change. That sounds familiar, right?
Your earring just fell.
Oh, no. It's okay. I'll just stay like this. How's that?
Stay on the one side. Right.
Yeah. So it's, that should sound familiar, but like, I feel like at some point, like there's always, I'm not going to go back to restriction. We know that doesn't work. But at the same time, if I have half of the year, if we're talking about these holiday seasons feeling like they get earlier and earlier, yeah, things are showing up in the store. And if Cadbury eggs are now in the store all year round, are they special anymore? Or am I going to see them and kind of want them because they are nostalgic? Like at a certain point, something has to win over nostalgia. Like I can't just want everything that reminds me of a happy memory or makes me feel good. And I think that there's a maturity in that I'm gaining because the work to lose a substantial amount of weight is hard, and I've been battling it for a long time. I don't wanna battle it forever. So I
Mhm.
think I'm at a point where I'm picking and choosing these little battles here and there, where I'm saying, "This season's gonna come every year." I am an adult, and I'm not going to say yes to everything.
Oh my gosh. Listen to Rikki. Wow. Are you, so okay, so if you had to pick, like, maybe 3 things this year that you're like, "Yep, okay, I'm doing these." What
Mhm.
would the things be for you?
So, number 1, the first thing I'm thinking of, and I mentioned it before, was Terry's chocolates, and I don't know why the past, like, year, that has been something that I don't know, I just love it. I feel like it's something I knew about when I was younger, but, like, didn't really I think I rediscovered it, and I there's something special about it. It's not something I have any other time of year, and it just I don't know, it's just a weird sensory thing, like, you get to smash the orange and it just explodes, and it's just fun. Um, what else? I think I'm not a big, like, I like coffee drinks, but I'm not a big, like, juice person. So but I love a nice warm cup of cider, and I feel like
Mm.
that's the exception to me where I know that it can be very sweet, and then sometimes people will put, like, whipped cream or other little toppings on it. So it's like it's one of those things where I'm like, "Okay, I'm gonna have this once, and I'm gonna enjoy it maybe while I'm sitting outside, and, it's special." And I think that goes hand in hand with apple cider donut. I don't know if I'm allowed to put those 2 together.
That sounds like a perfect pair to me, to be honest.
Yeah. Other than that, I don't know that I'm trying to think, like, of Christmas time and Thanksgiving, and, like, I can't think of any other one thing that I'm like, "I have to have that." I don't know. I
Not
think
even
that
anything at, like, the Thanksgiving table or, like, at Christmas?
no, because I feel like we do something different for the holidays. We don't always do the same thing. Like, I like turkey. I feel like that's yeah, we don't always do
Oh,
the same thing. Turkey is, like, not something on the list because 'cause I'm like, "Yeah, I enjoy it because it's there," but it's not like I mean, I could have
yeah,
turkey any day.
yeah.
I'm not a stuffing person. I like macaroni and cheese. Sometimes it's macaroni and cheese, um, but I have that other times a year too. It's just not always the same as the rich, indulgent
Right.
macaroni. So maybe I would say macaroni and cheese, like real
A
home
real good
cooked
one.
mac and cheese. Yeah.
Yeah. I,
What about you?
for me, so again, thinking about the span of this holiday season starting back August 27th, I will tell you that I got surprised this year, and
Mhm.
I made I made a reel about this. If you kind of thumb back through some things over on our Instagram page, which you can search for us by just looking for Real WW Talk. And Starbucks has come out now with non-dairy cold foam,
Mm.
and it's the apple chai non-dairy bloppity bloppity blop 42 points. 42
Oh my
points for
goodness.
it, and I didn't know that when I got it. I just took
Right,
that
of
first
course.
sip, and it hit my soul, and I knew I was in trouble. I was like, "Well, I can't have more than 1 because I know I will make
Mm.
this a habit."
Right,
And then, of course, I tracked it, and I was like, "I will not be making this a habit."
right.
And I was like, "I can't even recreate this. I can't even recreate
Mm.
this because it has basically a quarter of a cup of sugar in it. There's no way I'm gonna make a quarter of a cup of sugar in anything for myself, even if I use a Splenda version or something like that. It's not it will lead me down the path to other things. So I will say that that was a surprise thing for
Mhm.
this year. Um, and then, like, at Thanksgiving, it's the rolls.
Okay.
It's gluten-free because I don't do rolls and I really don't do breads
Yeah,
outside
yeah.
of that, but at Thanksgiving, we have the rolls.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then at Christmas, there will be at Christmas, we have all kinds of cookies. We have our big baking day. But
Mm,
last year, I love a fruit cake, and I love a real fruit cake,
okay.
not the doorstopper fruit cakes. Okay. And so I'm debating about, do I make that or not? Because I'll probably end up eating most of it. And I'm like, that's probably not a good thing for me to do and to have.
Mhm.
I'm gonna add a fourth thing in candy corn. So
Okay.
there.
Candy corn. Okay.
Everybody's like,
I'm with
wow.
you. I'm with you on the candy corn. I got one little pack of it because I like it and I don't need a whole bag. I don't want a giant bag of it. So
Right.
they had a pack that was this small, so like a single serving. I haven't opened it yet, but I'm looking forward to it. And that's I
You're
like to
holding
have
on for the
some.
right moment,
Yeah,
man. That's it.
exactly.
So, but I think the thing with each of those, as I mentioned them, is the tracking of
Mm,
it and
mhm.
not being scared of the points
Yes.
that go along with it and acknowledging that I'm eating it, whether I track it or not, it still counts. My
Mhm.
body is tracking it. My,
Yes. Yeah.
like my scale will track it. Now, one day will not make or break the journey. It shouldn't make or break the journey. And I should say that while it may not, for some people, it can. We be like, well, it's the old, if somebody slashed, one tire on your car,
Mm,
you go slash the other three tires. No, you just
mm,
replace the tire. But often in our weight journeys, we'll go through and we'll slash the rest of our tires when
mhm.
it's kind of ridiculous to do that.
Yeah.
So, how do you find yourself as we're going through the holidays? Are you tracking through the holidays, or do you kind of give up and then start at the beginning of the year?
I feel like lately, like this year might be a little different because I have been really so much more mindful of how full I am. So I haven't had a tracking streak in a long time. To be honest, I'm not great at tracking, but I've been very focused on whether or not I'm full. And I'm not
Mhm.
saying I'm doing intuitive eating or anything like that. Like my intention is to track more frequently, especially now with the GLP-1 tracker changes. It is really nice to at least keep track of like the protein and the different fruits and vegetables. And I think that side of the tracking is easier for me to be a little more consistent with. And I think if I can remember to do that and maintain that routine throughout the holidays, I can still have those little splurges here and there and points and not see a huge jump because I'm not, even if I'm not strictly tracking, I'm still filling myself up with the protein to the point where I don't want to be sick. I don't want to feel sick. So I'm going to
Right.
eat, you know, protein and then I can have a little bit of the Terry's chocolate orange and I've been a lot better lately about putting things aside when I'm full.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that is what I'm gonna bring into the holidays with me is like, I don't have to have the mindset of I got a slice of chocolate cake, I'm gonna eat the whole thing in one sitting, even if I feel sick. I'm gonna stop and it might take me 3, 4 days to eat it because I'm savoring it, I'm taking my time, and another thing that I want to do is because I mean, I don't want to diminish tracking, is remembering the Great Plate. Like, it doesn't have to be just for Thanksgiving. We can pre track bigger events. If I'm going to a wedding this weekend and let's say I know what the food is because I selected it on the menu, I can pre track that and pre track the wedding cake before that day so I can, know what
Mhm.
I have left to spend, the rest of the day. So I think that's what I'm taking with me.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I think so I half track through the holidays
Mhm.
because I start out like with such gusto. Like my pattern has been starting out with gusto and then it's
Mhm.
like and then I start to feel it. Your body starts to feel like I've been off track. You're like,
Mhm.
"Oh, I got to right this ship and make sure I'm, I'm doing the whole track kind of a thing." And
Mhm.
so this year I committed to myself, especially because we have the step bets going on. Like I want to
Mhm.
make sure that I'm maximizing the full potential of everything. And
Mhm.
to your point about the GLP-1 tracker, if you're wondering what we're talking about, go back to episode 193. I think we called it something like letting go of what's in the closet. We actually talk about switching our trackers to WWs GLP-1 setting, which emphasizes protein and vegetables.
Mhm.
And making sure, I want to make sure that I am really focused through the holidays on the good things. Like I shouldn't let 2 or 3 months completely derail my health. That's just not wise. And
Mhm.
I'm getting too old to play around like that. When I was in the younger days, well, okay, not anymore. I don't have room to play like that.
No, I don't
But
either.
I want to get to I want to get to January 1 and not going, I need a reset. And the
Yeah.
only way that I could get to January 1 without saying, I need a reset, I need to do something differently, is if I'm doing the work right now through this, fall, winter, holiday season. So that's my goal. That's my plan, as we navigate through, what little is left of the year and the season. So
Mhm.
yeah. What a minor pivot thinking too, like there's a lot of eating out. I feel
Mhm.
like this season there's more food that is not in our control
Yeah.
because of holiday parties. And I know with you being a teacher,
Mm.
people are bringing in the cupcakes and the things into the lounge, the
Yeah.
holiday treats. Um, and then also we're just running from thing to thing, which
Mhm.
also means probably having to eat out.
Yeah.
Do you have any strategy or tips that you use? Well, one for the eating out. Like I've got to go out on the run
Mhm.
and I've got to eat out. What's your plan? Like, do you have a go-to restaurant or a go-to food that you get that
Mhm.
keeps you within your points or keeps you within your health goals?
That's a good question. I mean, I tend to like salads. Like I it's not always what I first want when I'm at a restaurant, especially depending on where I go, but a lot of times I either like to get a Caesar salad, like to even just to start off with like a side salad, or something like, something with feta and other like things
Mm,
on it. And that will help me just fill me up a little bit before I have the rest of the meal. And then also, I've been better about really saying, I'm going to take home the other half. I'm not going to eat everything that comes out because the way restaurants are now, the portions are just unreal. I don't know if you remember Philomena, going there for my birthday in Georgetown, like, although it was like, I think it was
that
like
was
my
that Italian
30th.
place, right?
Yes, yeah. So we went with another friend and, the 3 of us enjoyed this. I mean, it's a landmark Georgetown restaurant. Well, earlier this fall, I went with a couple of girlfriends, and they had never been, and we just wanted to enjoy it, and we had a great time. But I mean, the amount of food they had, like 2 chicken breast cutlets because I had the chicken parmesan that were like the size of my face, and they were on the plate. And then that didn't include the pasta, and then there was bread. It was warm bread
Oh.
fresh from the oven on the
Oh.
table. They had a dessert like thing. And so for me, first of all, decided not to get dessert because there was somewhere else I wanted to get a cookie from. So I said, okay, I'm not going to get a slice of cake from here because I don't need both. So I think making those concessions and saying, you know, I'm going to pick what's important to me. And then I started off with a salad this time when I went. I had a Caesar salad. I tried the bread because they have this really wonderful, olive oil mixture that you put
Oh,
on, like, it's the seasonings in it. So
man.
those were the things that, like, the bread there to me was important because
Mhm.
it's fresh and it's different. And by the time I ate my chicken, I ate half of one of the cutlets and then took the rest home. So I had dinner for the next 2 days, like, not even exaggerating. So, like, I think going out, just prioritizing the things that are gonna come out that I want, and then, either sharing plates with people who are there. I think that's a good strategy too, if maybe you're not gonna be going home right after and you can't, don't wanna waste the food and have to throw it away. Um, yeah, either sharing the food with people at the table, focusing on the conversation, drinking a lot of water, and filling up on some vegetables before.
I remember, I think it was Heather, who was our very first meeting coach, talked about going to eat out. And she would say, I think it was appetizer, bread basket, drink, dessert, pick one, not all four.
Yeah.
Because if you do want to make a change and you are watching your points you want to track, you don't want to do all of those things together along with your meal,
Right.
but you're still going to treat yourself. So pick the one thing out of all those that you could use to do if you are going to do it at all.
Yeah.
For me, if I'm super busy, and actually this happened twice last week. I mean, you know me, I've been working real hard. Like I'm poor, I'm saving all my money. And so, but it did require having to eat out for lunch. Chick-fil-A, the grilled nuggets are $0. The kale salad is really delicious. That is, I think, 4 points. And then I get the Sunjoy, the diet Sunjoy, which is the diet lemonade and the diet iced tea together. So I feel like I have something delicious, and I need to have sauce. I need sauce with it. And I get the honey roasted barbecue, 2 points, as opposed to the Chick-fil-A sauce, which is 7 points.
Oh my God.
Which is shocking.
Huge. It's like, how does 7 points fit in that little container?
I know, right? But that gives me, I'm still staying to my plan. I'm getting, the good protein, I'm getting the vegetables. And I also noticed for myself that it doesn't lead me to continued cravings to something else. I think there's something about having, and I will tell you, it is a struggle. This is not an easy choice for me to choose the kale salad over the waffle fries. I'm not lying.
Yeah.
I'm not lying. There are times when I'm like, no, I need the waffle fries. And the minute I say I need the waffle fries, then I know I'm making an emotional decision versus a conscious decision of what is the good thing for me right now. So you might be able to eat the waffle fries and it be a good decision for you. I know for me, there are times I can do that. And there are other times where choosing the waffle fries means I'm also choosing other not great things in my world. But so that's like a quick, if I got to go someplace, and that is all, as someone who has a gluten allergy and a dairy allergy, completely works for me. I've got kind of, a little bit more limited choices out there. Yeah. But those are, when you got to do a quick meal out, you got to do a quick meal out. That's what I got.
I do wish there were more Chopped places around. So Chopped is a local brand, and I think they're in other major cities, so not just in the DMV, but like more in urban areas. And it's just a place that makes salads. They will put things in wraps too, so it's, they've got a range, and then they have some warm bowls as well. But what they originally started with was just salads, and their method is to chop things up really finely and then mix them up. So it's you have like that perfect bite every time you bite in, because it's not like you don't get one chunk of lettuce here and one chunk of chicken here. It's all finely chopped and mixed up really well. But the closest one is probably about 30 minutes from me. I did find out that there's a new one that might be coming to a city that's like maybe 15 minutes away.
In between us?
It's Alney.
Oh, okay. So kind of, go ahead. That's good for you.
Yeah.
That's good for you.
And I say 15 minutes. It's really like 15 minutes from my mom's house. I always feel like that's like another starting point for me, because I, stop by there often. But so more like 20, but it's closer than Rockville or because Baltimore has them. But I feel like Chopped is a good place too if you're ever nearby, or if I'm out. I know my car shop, not that I'm there all the time, but like my car shop is near one. So I'll, if I'm spending the day waiting for my car, I'll make sure I hit up Chopped, because they have a good range of salads, and you can tell them, less lettuce or not less lettuce, less dressing.
This is a salad place, not as much lettuce, please.
Right. No lettuce. Add a pizza dough um, extra cheese and some pepperoni. Put it in the oven.
Right. Maybe 15 minutes.
Right.
Call me when it's ready.
Best salad ever.
It's glorious. Okay, how about tracking like the cookies and things?
Mm.
When those come along, are you tracking them or are you eating them and going, "Oh, well, we'll see what happens"?
I think for the most part, I try to, and I don't know how realistic it is, but I at least try to do one of those quick ads. So I don't know again how realistic it is, but if let's say I had two unknown like source cookies, like two sugar cookies, have no idea what the person made them with. I'm either looking for something similar in the app, because you can find home baked cookies, but I know there have been times where I put in a home baked cookie and it's 7 points, and I'm like, that cookie wasn't 7
I
points. I
know that.
know it was like at least 20.
Yep.
But depending on whether I want to be honest about it, I'll just track it and move on. But around the holidays, I think I my go-to, especially because things are busy, is to quick add things.
Yeah. I've just pulled up my app right now because I wanted to go look at I have actually put my chocolate chip cookie recipe
Okay.
um in the app. And I don't know why WW is giving me theirs first because that's not right. Oh, it's not giving me any of mine first.
You
Trust me, I don't use a quarter of a cup of butter. I got 2 sticks of butter
Did you
in
change
mine.
it over to recipes? Because I find that sometimes when you search, it first goes to, like, other things.
I did recipes. So I think that's like a quirk of the updates is when I do recipes, it comes up with all WW recipes and not
Mhm.
mine included.
Mhm.
Um, well, that's kind of a bummer and it's just ruining my mojo right now in this moment. I remember when I feel like mine were 8 points and mine are
Okay.
full tilt. These are full tilt. And so they came up and and I'm not doing minis. I'm doing like the solid size and they were like 8
Wow.
points each. And it was like,
Okay.
okay, hey, if that's what's going to be, that's what it's going to be. I'll do that.
Yeah.
But I do think doing some kind of a quick ad, doing something, it's just about, kind of feel like it's less about the control of the absolute number of the point and more about
Mhm.
the consistency that I've tracked it, that I'm aware of it, that I'm accountable for it.
Yeah.
Is that perfection versus, how's that working for you kind of a thing.
Right. I'll never forget when one of our meeting leaders had us share like a paper tracker back in the day when they had the paper tracker, and we'd pass it around. And it wasn't until like I don't remember ever looking at what other people ate. It was more so I could have a document of like this is what I had this week. How, like you said, how did that work for me? I feel it, and then knowing that other people could be looking at it, or my meeting leader would be looking at it, had that extra accountability. But I think you can learn a lot from your tracker. So if you are honest with it, it can tell you, hey, like maybe you had too much sodium this week. Maybe this particular breakfast is too high in points. I know one of my friends who
Mm.
looks at my tracker said that to me once. She's like, hey, I'm noticing your breakfasts are a little high in points. And I think it was my coffee, that was rounding it out a little higher even than the food. So she was giving me that tip, and it's like you can't see that if you don't write it down.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Actually, Ricky, that's a really great point of thinking about tracking through the holidays is, are there any changes that we need to make to our day to day to give us a little bit more wiggle room
Mhm.
for a party that day?
Yeah.
Or if we know that we're adding an 8 point cookie every day, do we need to
Mhm.
adjust our breakfasts and make our breakfasts, closer to a 0 point or a 2 point if they aren't already down there? Or,
Mhm.
even the lunches, really focusing on those 0 point foods, those, lean meats, lean proteins, fruits and vegetables. I mean, it is actually pretty easy, air quotes, to have a close to 0 point day. I mean, that's eggs for
Mhm.
breakfast and vegetables. Lunch would be a
Mhm.
piece of salmon. And again, having some more vegetables along with that. Dinner, a chicken breast,
Yeah.
and a salad. And then if you add on, even if you went with a full fat dressing, I mean, that could be up to
Mhm.
5 points, but already
Those
throughout the day.
0 Yeah,
Yeah.
those 0 point soups that people love to make with all the vegetables in it, that could be pretty filling, like, there's things you could do.
There are lots of options. So maybe that, again, as you track through the holidays, is what am I tracking, and is there anything that I need to do or could do differently that gives me a little bit extra space in my tracker. Yeah, that's great.
Mhm.
We'd recommend that you check out The Holy Mess, who's a
Mhm.
friend of the podcast, and she's fantastic. She has a 3-day meal plan that pretty much centers around the 0 point foods. Not every day equals out to a 0 point, but like a 5 point day. But
Mhm.
that's a good thing if you either need a jump start or you're just like, hey, I need to find my way through the holidays and give me
Yeah.
some ideas. Definitely. Theholymess.com is where you find it. And we'll link that in the show notes. But that could be a really good resource
Yes,
for you.
definitely a great way to reset.
Yeah. Um, I had a question that I was going to ask you, and it just flipped out of my brain.
Oh, no.
Oh man, because it was going to
Well,
be
what
really,
about activity tracking during the
yes.
holidays? Yeah, like, I mean, I know it gets colder outside and it's harder and harder when our schedules get busier, but how do you maintain like your walks during the holidays when your schedule's busier, the days are shorter, all of that?
So I have made a pretty strong commitment to myself
Mhm.
that in 2022, I was really strong with my walking, and I I'm outside doing it. Even though it's freaking frigid outside, I'm outside doing it. And I told myself, I didn't do it last year. This is going to be the year that I'm back to doing this because I like how I felt come spring. And I was really
Mhm.
proud of myself. So I have my fleece lined leggings. I even bought myself a little safety strap, reflective light thing,
I
so that
love
when I go
that.
out early in the morning or, 4 p.m. in the afternoon and it's pitch black now, basically, that people will be able to see me.
Yeah.
But, I'm taking all the protective measures that I can. And then I've also started doing something that I kind of stop. I don't really watch a whole lot of TV. But for the times when I am watching TV or a show, I'm walking my way through the show. I'm not
That's
really sitting down for it. I'm going to reserve an actual movie with friends and family because I'm not going to stand and walk while they're sitting there. But getting the movement in while I'm watching something or while I'm listening to something. I will tell you
Mhm.
my struggle continues to be on the lifting weights. Like
Yeah, I'm with you.
it's just I don't know why it's such a struggle.
Yeah.
It's truly a mind over matter discipline thing. It really is.
Mhm.
And I'm just
It's just also it's very repetitive. Like, I don't wanna knock it, I have both of us knocking it, but it's very for me, the challenge with weights is even when I do a Peloton weights class, it's just like, okay, set after set after set, and it just the time doesn't go by for me as fast as another like a cardio activity.
right. And the problem is, especially at our age, like we need to be doing this because
Yeah.
I saw something you lose between 5 and 8% of your muscle mass over 40.
Mhm. Mm.
Like we have to. It is critical for our bone health. And
Mhm.
part of it, I wonder, is just for us growing up, weights wasn't a thing. It
Yeah.
was the cardio. And like I've got to unlearn that part. I've got
Mhm.
to learn to love this thing. And I love being strong. So I don't know why it is that much of a hurdle.
Right.
But
Yeah,
ugh,
I think there are some things that have kinda come in to become more trendy in the past, like, even 10 years or so. Like, I was really into, some of the Pilates videos for a while or things that use body weight. So I think
mhm,
one thing I'm trying to reframe is, like, okay, strength training doesn't have to be getting up the weights and doing reps, like, it can be other things. So I know that, and back to the Peloton thing, but they have Pilates and bar classes offered, and then they even have like if you're like me and getting up and down off the ground is a little bit harder sometimes, they have like a standing abs class where you can do like a 5-minute ab workout while you're standing. And I think it's 5 and 10 minutes. So I think like reframing what strength looks like and what strength training looks like is really helpful.
Yeah. Okay. So what are you planning? What are you planning on doing? Do you pick up the Peloton, or are you going to pick up
Mhm.
that more?
I think
More?
I will. I've been probably consistent with about a couple times a week before the holidays. So as we're like in the thick of it, what I'm looking forward to is the seasonal live classes for me. Those
Mm,
really get me excited because you know that you're working out at the same time as other people. And you can see that when you're in the app on a day-to-day basis. Like sometimes someone will say so and so is here and you can give them a little high five, virtual high five. But like seeing a live instructor, knowing that they're celebrating the same holiday, it's Thanksgiving morning, there's the turkey burn that I've done consistently over the past few years. And it's a nice way to start the holiday, knowing that it's gonna be a busy day. It's harder to fit it in later, but then it's a tradition at this point. And again, I think the when you have a type of workout that's not as social as a running club or a gym
mhm.
membership, it really feels like more like a community when you have those live events.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah, that's one thing that I do miss is like the social aspect of like the running clubs and, some of the outdoor
Mhm.
activity things that we used to do. I just the schedules in life have changed.
Yeah.
And Ricky's like, for the better for me. Ricky's like, I'm out. That was a season of life. I'm done.
I think the Peloton is more
Your
my
speed.
thing. I'm
That's
not a
your
boot
jam.
camp person. I do miss the gym sometimes. I do miss that, but I mean, the whole like getting up early and going like leaving my house like when it's dark. I'm like grateful I don't have to do that anymore.
Yeah, I will tell you, yeah, that one feels because I'm doing that. I'm going,
Okay.
and I'm actually going to some place because the area around my house isn't as well lit.
Mhm.
So I'm going someplace that is well lit
Okay.
to really do it.
Yeah.
But it's cold. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie. It's cold. Even with all of the cold weather gear, it's a psych up. And I'm like,
Mhm.
there are these people out here sitting in ice baths. Like what? I told myself I'm as fierce as that.
There you go.
Oh my gosh.
Well, bravo to you.
Well, you know what? Before we dip out, I do want to say thank you to a couple people. Pat, Stephanie, Judy, Mickey, and Cheryl, who are some of our newest subscribers to Real WW Talk.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
They so kindly and so generously support us on a monthly basis. And we're really grateful because they are helping to bring this podcast to you. And if you would like to join in and be part of it, just look for the little link in the show notes that says become a subscriber. And it's small, it's a weekly basis. Actually, kind of exciting to us when we have some people who are like, hey, can't do WW anymore, but I've decided I can do $3 a month and be a subscriber for you guys. So
Mhm.
don't think that $3 a month does not have an impact because for these three ladies who pay for all of the things, it does.
We appreciate you guys.
We are so grateful. We're so grateful to everybody who leaves comments and interacts in the Real WW Talk Facebook group. Instagram, if you want to send us an email, just do realwwtalk@gmail.com. And we're also on Connect as well. If you're in the WW app, of course, we've said before, but just to reiterate, while we are Real WW Weight Watchers Talk, we're for anybody who's a part of any type of health exercise. We know there are a lot of people who started out with us who were on WW but have transitioned to
Mhm.
something else. So we're a very welcoming space for whatever health journey you're on because we're all going on in the same direction. Somebody might be riding a bike, somebody might be walking, somebody could be using a hoverboard.
Mhm.
Go for it. Whatever it takes. We're all going to the same place together. So
Yes.
But if there's space on that hoverboard, let me ride with you for a minute, okay? All right. Well, we hope that you have a great week. We'd love to hear from you in the group or by email how you're tracking through the holidays. What are you doing to keep yourself on track and successful through the holidays? Let us know. Hit us up. We want to hear about it.
Definitely.
See you later. Have a great week.
Bye.
Bye.